Hey guys, FMS26 here, and welcome to round 1 of AOR Season 16 here at Australia. And as you can see, the racing line is on, and to my surprise, and most other people's surprise, I have been allowed to keep the racing line on, and as a result, I'm in F5. So basically, they just let everyone keep it on, so F5 is the third quickest here, or, well, definitely the fourth and probably the third. Aaron Dasner's here as well, who was very quick on the time trial, so it's going to be a pretty competitive season. Also, a few very quick drivers: Humperdinck, Matty Mann, Stewie, the Mighty Midget, of course, who you may remember from way back in season 11. So it should be a very competitive season as we're on our qualifying lap now, currently on the Ultras, just trying to get a banker in. So yeah, it's a very competitive season. My pace around Australia is very good, so I'm looking to go for a podium today. This ultra soft lap will be backed out of because we're going to qualify on the super soft compound tyre because I cannot get the ultras to work to save my life. They overheat after about 3 laps as we get a bit of oversteer on the next chicane, but luckily not binning it in the wall and condemning ourselves to start in 20th, which would be not exactly ideal, if I'm honest. But we've kept it on the track, and this lap's actually probably pretty solid. It'd probably be well, probably a high 19, but that would be close to pole, I would reckon. But we're going to back out. As you can see, we've lifted off, and we come across the line for a 21.1. So we'll easily beat that on the supers now, as we skip to the end of the session. I'm coming to do our supers lap. We backed out the first one after we messed up turn 1, so we're going to give it the full beans now for our second lap as we head down towards turn 1 into 4th gear. So we're in the car nicely. We've got a reasonable run there, obviously in the red because we're comparing it to an ultra soft lap, which was actually pretty solid as we head down towards turn 3. This is a difficult corner. The back end likes to slide on entry, but we managed to keep it all under control through turn 4, keep it in 3rd, and then shift up to 4th on the apex. As we now come through turn 5 flat, no problems through here. Maybe if we clip the curve a bit, we probably don't want to do that as we head towards turn 6 and 7. Very tricky chicane there, although we've managed to take the apex, let the car run out wide nicely. So this has been a pretty solid lap so far. I'm pretty happy with how this has gone as we head down towards turn 9, spotting the braking point nicely. Swing the car in, get on the power nice and early, but we clip the grass there, a bit of oversteer, which isn't exactly what you want as we head towards the chicane. Now, this is where a lot of times we run a loss. We're purple as it stands, 6th gear, but we've just understeered past the apex off the track. We've lost the car, and we've also been invalidated, and that is very, very bad news because there's not time for another lap, and as a result we're starting all the way down in 13th today, which is not what I had in mind. Midget actually takes pole with a 20.2, which we could have easily beaten on the supers. I think it was Zebra in second, I don't know, I wasn't looking, but here we go. We have the lights, it's 4 lights, now we have 5, and it's lights out and away we go for season 16 of Australia. And we've not got a great start. It's not as good as Larry in the Force India ahead, but it's pretty comparable to the people behind, as we are very cautious into turn 1, just leaving everyone's space around the outside of Teak there, who has a look up the inside. And we're now up into P13, well, we remain in P13 as we head down towards turn 3. Someone's backed out there, so we're going to have a look up the inside of the Sauber as well, as it's all going very claustrophobic. We managed to get past Codfield as we now touch the back of the Larry there in the Force India. So he managed to move up 2 places up to 11th. There's a bit of contact further back. Not really sure what happened. Probably a bit of lag and desync because we do have a full lobby, 20 people racing here today. So I'm not really surprised that the game can't handle it, as we're going to have a look at Larry into here. We need to make moves here. We need to be aggressive. We've had a look up the inside. He's able to hang it around the outside though. He was late enough on the brakes that we couldn't get alongside enough as we now head down towards the chicane for the first time. We're using overtake. We know we have to be aggressive if we want to get on the podium here, as we're going to go side by side as Larry's managed to hold it on the inside there. Not really anything we can do. We're not going to be able to hang it around the outside. We've now got Codfield having a look at us again, but we've used the ERS once again to make sure we're able to keep the position, which we have done nicely. And that means lap 1 is going to come to a close with us in 11th, up 2 places, but that's not the main thing. The main thing is that our car is still fully intact, which is obviously never to be taken for granted, especially when starting in the midfield. So we're looking to work from here. We know our pace is probably the best out of anyone's based on qualifying. We could have got pole by 3 or 4 tenths even on the supers there. As we now head through turn 1. It's got a bit claustrophobic here. We've got Llama, who's had a poor run. I think he went side by side with someone. We're going to have a look to the inside here, squeeze our way through. But there's contact there. Larry's gone sliding across the corner, smashed into the Ferrari of the Giant, and Sebro as well in the Mercedes, who's been spun there. Giant's out of the race, sadly, as we've lost the position to Codfield, and also some front wing on the front left, which was when Llama came back into us after the original contact with the Force India, and that's very unfortunate, really. Not much we could do, but our pace isn't actually too bad despite the damage. The understeer obviously not ideal by any means, but we're still able to keep up with Codfield and Humperdinck here, as Humperdinck's lost it in the final corner, gone sliding into the wall, as we've got Matty Man in the other Williams behind us now. We're going to have a look at Codfield into turn 1. He's going defensive. We're not going to be able to hang it around the outside, so we're going to have to go to the cutback here, which we do. He parks it nicely on the Apex. He hasn't got the best exit, so maybe with the DRS, but he has DRS as well, obviously, because he is behind the Williams. As we're going to have a look to the inside, he leaves us the room. We're going to have a look up inside later on the brakes as we go side by side through the corner. He should have the superior traction, and indeed he does with the wide line. And it's a good effort from us, but obviously nothing we could do to get past him there, as we run a bit wide through there as well. But this is promising. Even with the damaged front wing, our pace is still pretty solid. So at this point, there's nothing stopping me from still getting a podium in this race. I firmly believe that I can, and I just need to make sure I utilise the soft stint well. Probably come for an early pit stop as well to try and get the undercut, which would be crucial, obviously. We're going to lose time for the wing change, so we need to try and gain that back via the undercut, which we're going to give our best shot at as we head through the chicane. This is where obviously we're losing a lot of time. The downforce is crucial through here, as we've been thrown off by the curb. We managed to actually save it there somehow, as the curb just spat us out there. But we're going to have Matty now having a look into turn number 13. He's going to have a look around the outside. We're not having any of that. We're going to squeeze him onto the curb there. He's still trying to go side by side, but we have the inside line for this corner, and he doesn't have the grip to hold it around the outside. He probably did, to be honest, if he tried it, given we had wing damage, but he chose not to. But at this point, I've had enough, and we're going to come into the pits. Lap 5, very early pit stop for the softs, but they will go to the end. The softs, if you look after them, I reckon softs can do the whole race around this track. Tyre wear isn't very bad on them whatsoever. I think they're a very good race tyre, so we're gonna keep them on. We're gonna chuck them on. Probably go to the end, unless there's a safety car. We'll put on ultras or something with like 8 laps to go or something. So we're gonna come out quite far down the field in 13th here, maybe 14th. I think Humperdinck will go past us, although he's in the pits behind us, so that seems unlikely. So it's 13th for us as we come out the pits on pretty cold tyres. So we've got Jack, who got caught up in an incident on lap 1 behind us as well, where we've understeered through turn 1, oversteer now on the exit, more oversteer due to the cold tyres, so he's going to have a run on us down towards turn 3. And at this point we're making sure that we're keeping the fuel and the ERS modes turned up to make sure we're able to defend, because I don't want to waste time trying to pass Jack. I want to be able to get on and push straight away to try and minimise the loss from the front wing change, and maybe be around Codfield when he comes out of the pits as we get to the end of sector 1 now, ahead of Jack, and hopefully the tyres are warmed up despite the understeer which we just had to deal with through there. But no, Jack is still pretty close to the back of us as we head down towards turn number 9 now. Nice to actually have some turn in now, but we managed to keep the position, which is nice to see. So coming to the end of that lap, people are in the pits as we move up 1 place to P12. ESR Amazed in the Sauber has come in, and he has jumped us. I think he was quite far behind us, so that just shows how much we've lost as we've now coming to the end of lap number 7, fastest lap of the race, as you do, as we've got Jack RT coming out of the pits. We've managed to go through Peanut, who's unfortunately disconnected, and Jack's just unbelievably slow. We had nowhere to go, so we've given him a nice tap in the rear through turn 1. I'm not entirely sure where he's going on the straight, so we're going to we had to weave around behind him. I wasn't sure where he was placing his car. We're going to go side by side through turn 4 now. There's no contact, but it's clear there has been contact on his screen. We're going to go for the cutback through turn 5, and he slides off the track there. And I mean, I don't know if I hit him on his screen. I was a long way behind on my screen, but the desync in this race was horrendous. And I mean, as a result, like racing people was pretty much impossible. Under the virtual safety car, I've actually done it quite well, but it does give some people a free pit stop, which is exactly not what we needed, given the situation that we were already in, where we have a lot of time to make up if we want to get on the podium here. But we're going to give it our best shot. Sebro is in the pits, I think, or is he out the pits? No, he's in the pits, so that moves us up another place. as he didn't really manage to gain from the virtual safety car very much, as we're now up into P8 here. So podium is still on, potentially, but another fastest lap from us as we skip to lap number 10 now. So we've got the pace, but we're quite far behind at the moment, as we now skip on to lap 11. ESR Amazed in the Sauber. He started right at the back. I think he crashed in qualifying, but we've got a great run off the chicane. We're going to have a look to the outside, I think, as we head down towards turn 13. We should be able to get it done under brakes. I suspect we'll brake later, and indeed we do. But as you can see, we're getting pushed by his car, oversteer there. And this is a classic case of desync, as once again just getting bullied by his car, but he's nowhere near us on his screen, I'd imagine, or he's definitely not touching us, as there's more contact through the penultimate corner. He's going to try and go side by side through the final corner. And yeah, this is the problem with this game. It's literally impossible, or in this race it was impossible to race people, because your car had like a massive bubble, is the best way I can describe it. Obviously most of you who play the game, so you know what I mean, but there's a massive bubble around your car where if the bubble is within another car, then you're getting hit by it, which is not ideal, and that's probably cost us the position to Amaze there. He's just hitting us off on our screen, even though he was driving fairly on his screen, which is a big problem. It can be okay, so I don't know if it was the host. I really hope it wasn't the host, because I'm planning on using the same host next week, or if it was just the lobby being broken. Probably that one. I mean, it is Codemasters after all. But yeah, so we lost a bit of time there as a result of Amazed not being able to well, it's not his fault. Like desync, you can't do much about it. But as a result of his car being having the bubble around it, so we're going to try again as we come through the chicane once again. We go for the exit. He's taken a reasonable amount of speed, but he's lost the back end on the curb there. So we've had the superior exit. We're going to try the same move, deja vu pretty much. Can we be later on the brakes? We managed to claim the apex this time, but again we had a big hit up the back there, as you see, having to put on opposite lock, but we don't get anything into this corner, so hopefully we should be okay. And we're trying to run away at this point, but obviously there's another DRS straight just coming up now, so he's going to have the DRS for this one, which is going to make it quite difficult for us to defend. We're going to utilise all the ERS, all the fuel, but as you can see, he's still gaining. Is he going to have a look into turn 1? He does, but we're turning in. I think we will probably hit on our screen, because I don't understand why I'd run that wide otherwise, but he probably didn't actually hit us. But we managed to hold the position, and we now move up to P7, but the safety car has been deployed. The safety car is out here, and this is a big help to me, I'd say, as we skip to the end of the safety car. No one ahead pitted, but we're now into P7 here. But the lead is not far ahead whatsoever. Matty Man does have a drive-through. He sped under the safety car. So if we can carve our way through the field, we don't have a penalty as it stands. If we can carve our way through the field in the remaining 11, I think, laps. No, 13 laps. Then maybe the podium is still on. I think pretty much everyone ahead of us has a penalty apart from Codfield. So it's going to be me and him doing our best to try and make our way through the field. We've been screwed over by the restart, as we've been released at a really poor point on the apex of the penultimate corner. But Minty's in the wall there. He's obviously lost it with the cold tyres, which is a really big thing on this game. It hasn't really been implemented before, but on this game it does matter as we head through turn 1 now, and we've run a bit wide there. But big oversteer moment on the exit there, just due to the cold tyres, and now Lama's going to have a run on us. We're going to stick to the inside, go defensive as we break down into turn 3. We've got him way too deep. We've locked up with the cold tyres as Midget's been spun around. Codfields goes through. We're going to have to let Lama through there because we've hit him off, and that was actually Amaze, not Codfield. And there's more contact there. That was another desync incident as Amaze and Lama go spinning, and in an unbelievable turn of events, I think both Midget and Stewie were taken out on the inside of turn 3, which I only saw Midget, but we're now up into P4. Despite all that absolute carnage, we managed to keep our car intact once again and make our way through the mess. And with Matty Man having a drive-through, we are effectively in P3 here. So we only need to pass Codfield because Aaron Dassler in first has a penalty as it stands. So surely not, we can still win this race. Jackster could still win this race, and given where he was before the safety car and the bad luck he's had, it would be incredible if either of us were able to take this home, as we've got a huge run off the chicane there. We haven't even cut it, so I don't know what Matty Man was doing, but we're going to have a look maybe into turn 13. Are we later on the brakes? We are later on the brakes, up the inside. We come from miles back. We're probably over a second behind at the middle sector split, and we've overtaken them. Jackster's through on the inside as well, and I think Larry as well, who, after going sideways through turn 3, through no fault of his own on lap 2, is also now within a shout of a podium. But we need to give it the beans. We're going to lost a lot of time to Codfield, obviously, due to the carnage that we had to negotiate and get involved in with long. But that's the fastest lap in the race in the 23s there. So the pace is there. It's just when the tyres will wear out. Obviously, we've have had a couple of laps under the safety car, but we're still trying to stretch them quite a lot as our fastest lap got beaten, unfortunately, as someone pit. As we've cut that corner, and that's a penalty, and that is GG. We're not going to win the race, not a chance now, as we've got another warning to add to that as well, with Larry now behind us in the Force India. So he's managed to get past Jack, and his pace was also very impressive. I don't know when he's put those softs on, but I'm assuming they're a fair bit fresher than mine as we head through turn 1 here. As you can see, Codfield not far ahead. He doesn't have a penalty at the moment, but he's only one warning away. So if we can get past him, second is still on the cards here. Larry's going to have a look up the inside into turn 3, and we're going to let him go there. We've just let him have that position. We're going to let him lead us up to Codfield. His pace is better at the moment, and I'm not even going to try and deny that. My pace was lacking even despite the fastest lap a couple of laps ago, as we've now had contact there. Unfortunately, Larry's just clipped us there. I mean, I think it was desync. I start to wait, but the guys in the party who are out of the race say it's not my fault, so I made the decision not to wait. I mean, Jack's gone through anyway, so we were lucky not to get damaged that. Very unfortunate for Larry. I mean, I don't think I really did anything wrong. It's just an unfortunate case of this game being bad, really, which we have had to succumb to here. As Jack's pace was actually pretty good, as that's another penalty there. We lost the plot here, really, and we're not really able to keep up with Jack. He's on fresher tyres again, which is playing a part in this, but it's 2 penalties now. It's pretty much GG. Larry's pit and set fastest lap. I feel very sorry for him, but again, not really my fault. But yeah, it is going to be 4th place here. Aaron Dawson takes the win, so well done to him. With Jack not getting a penalty, fair play, very well done, which allows him to take 2nd off Codfield. Codfield 3rd. We were sufficiently far enough of Humperdinck, which allowed us to take 4th. But now I have to do some explaining. Due to the desync, there was a lot of calls for the race to not count, and we put up a poll, and it was a 12-8 in favour of the race not counting due to the desync. So, as a result, the very entertaining race, absolute mayhem, will not count, and my 4th place doesn't count. So the season starts in Bahrain. The drivers also voted not to rerun, so we won't have to see that track again, which is, despite my pace being pretty good, a good thing because the track is garbage. But yeah, so that's Australia done. That's 20 minutes of a race which doesn't count, but a very entertaining race nonetheless. So I do hope you did enjoy. The results will be on screen now, but they don't mean much. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this race, despite the maybe disappointing outcome in terms of it not meaning much. And yeah, I'll see you very soon for Bahrain, which will be round 1. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.